Ole Miss's wideouts. What can you tell us about who Dart's going to be throwing to tomorrow night?
Well, it's a little by committee. Trey Harris was in early, had the 4 touchdowns opening day, and then had the one on the first drive against Tulane the following week on the drive that he got hurt on. Then he was out. He was back last week. He was a high school quarterback, and his go-to wide receiver was Malik Neighbors in high school down in Louisiana. But it's by committee. You got Watkins. We've been waiting for Franklin to step up. He's been hurt. But the big key and the big welcome addition to the team was Caden Prieskorn, the transfer from Memphis, the tight end. And we didn't have him early in the year. He hurt his foot in August camp, and he didn't get back into Alabama and was mostly ineffective against Alabama, as the whole team was on a day that the offense just whiffed against Alabama. But Prieskorn was back last year, and he's the safety valve guy, but he's also a really good inline blocker. And last week was the first time the Ole Miss offensive line really has blocked anybody. We could not move Tulane an inch. Ole Miss could not block Tulane, but was able to block LSU. So, go figure.
What about the idea of Ole Miss making maybe their first SEC championship game in the final year of East and West? There's been some great quarterbacks that have been through Oxford, both Mannings. I thought Snead was outstanding in 2009, the late Jevin Snead.
Chad Kelly.
Yeah, Chad Kelly. I know Arkansas spoiled the party before. You talk with players, you talked with Kiffin. Does this team feel like if things fall the right way that they could end up in Atlanta for the last time of the East and the West?
There's no way Lane Kiffin would let that even be thought about. He's very much the pro mindset week to week. After being in the pros with the Raiders, his dad's legendary career in college and pro, including great years being the defensive coordinator for Coach Lou Holtz with the Razorbacks, including 1977 when the Razorbacks beat Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl. But no, there's no way Lane Kiffin's talking about any of that. Now the fans are, and I'm telling my friends, I don't entertain the idea of Atlanta unless it's 5-1 after Arkansas, open date, go to Auburn, beat Hugh Freeze, be 6-1, and then play Vandy. And after Vandy, I would start entertaining the idea, but been heartbroken too many times.
Stats, I couldn't help but notice you said beat Hugh Freeze. You didn't say beat Auburn. You said beat Hugh Freeze. How big's that going to be?
Well, it's going to be big, Chuck. Coach Hugh Freeze did Ole Miss a great job, but how he parted, it's hard to forget for either party. He paid a very serious price, and Ole Miss paid a very serious price. And I don't wish any ill will on him, but I do want to beat him, and I know he wants to beat Ole Miss. I got a good friend of mine that's a local minister that is on a text chain with Coach Freeze, and they talk about things. And he said one thing I don't want you praying for. Don't be praying for a win over Ole Miss. And Coach Freeze understands that, but that's down the road. First thing is Razorbacks, and after last year, I just don't know how any fan could be chalking this up as a gimme W, because the Razorbacks have zero fear factor of Ole Miss or playing in Oxford.
Well, 5 of the last 8 games between these two have been decided by 4 points or less. You said earlier you think Ole Miss wins the game. Tell us why you think the Rebs come out on top, and will it be a close one like we've seen in the 5 of these last 8?
Tommy, I got it 38-28, and that's right around the Vegas point spread. That would be Razorbacks covering the point spread, and it's right around the Vegas point total. I think it's around 63, so 38-28. My Fayetteville math says 66. I think that's right. And so right around that, I think the biggest thing is at home. Shouldn't this series and shouldn't kind of the State, Ole Miss, Arkansas, when they play South Carolina, when they play Kentucky, shouldn't that really – Missouri, shouldn't that really be advantage home field? And that's the advantage I'm giving Ole Miss.
Well, Brett, we're excited to see it tomorrow night. Again, 6:30. We'll have our pregame coverage get going at 1 o'clock tomorrow night. Yours get going. I'll see you in about 3 hours from now at lunch. Don't bring your credit card. This one's on Tommy, okay?
You bet.
No. I don't let friends pay. I got you covered. Can't wait to see you, and can't wait to see you, Chuck, and Tommy. Always fun to visit with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Stats.
All right, Brett Norsworthy joining us on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Hey, if you're looking for your next ride, Chuck, there's 6 locations here in Northwest
There
Arkansas.
are. We talk about McClarty Daniel in terms of the McClarty Daniel Hotline, but man, if you've done business with them, you know it's all about the customer experience. And this goes back many, many years. Russ Daniels been doing this since 1987, and he's the managing partner for those 6 dealerships in Northwest Arkansas. And they take a lot of pride in offering customers things that a lot of others don't, just to be real honest with you. Complimentary rentals when your car's being serviced. Saturday service. You don't always get that. The McLarty Daniel Advantage on their pre-owned vehicles. And I think what you're going to find is that they're about helping the customer. They're about helping you get into the automobile that you want to get into. They're also about their employees and their community as well. And you'll see that reflected in a lot of the things that they do too. You can experience all this for yourself, the great service that customers have come to know and expect at McLarty Daniel. Stop by one of their 6 convenient locations in Bentonville and Springdale. You can shop online at McLartyDaniel.com.
Again, we're at Wheels RV this morning, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. They're going to have an event. This isn't just the place to be. They're having a family event here tomorrow with bounce houses for the kids. They're going to have face painting, axe throwing, a rock wall that's set up out there that the kids can climb. But barbecue is going to be the star of the show, and football. They're going to have football on the screens, free barbecue, free beer. 30 or so cook teams from around the area are going to be competing. These are amateur barbecue cooks that they're just your backyard cook like we'd be. We'll see if they have the best ribs. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Sounds like it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, we weren't busy.
If I wasn't occupied.
Yeah, this would be the place to be.
It's a big party.
Ought to be here and judge those ribs.
Everyone's invited.
Yeah, so it's free. That's your other favorite word is free, and it's all free here at Wheels RV.
Especially,
come by and check out their great selection too.
Especially in radio, right, Chuck? That's our favorite word.
Well, I couldn't help but notice you and Stats arguing over who was going to pick up the tab. Yeah. I'm like, that's not radio people that I know.
Well, you noticed how I framed it. I said Tommy will be happy to take care of this. And
when a radio guy says I'll pick up the tab, it means he's got trade.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what it means. There's not any money changing hands. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, one time a guy that worked at a radio station lost his wallet. He lost $300 in trade and $37 in cash.
That's right.
And they were surprised he had the $37. So.
Listen, man, I don't do radio for the clout. I don't do radio for the money. I do it for love. And it will always hopefully be that way.
Yeah, marry for money so you can do radio for love. That's the best advice I can give you.
Or hopefully get a rich benefactor to die and leave you some cash.
Root for death. That's always the way to go.
Well, I mean, it happens. But
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Tommy, you were talking about events. We got a big one Sunday night with the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And
that's a must-see regular season game. You got to play in your Sunday night around Cowboys Niners.
No question. I know I will be. I'll be coming back from Oxford, driving back, and my tush is going to be on my dad's Lazy Boy exactly at about 7 o'clock after I get some work done. And listen. I'm not a Cowboy fan. I'm not a Niners fan. But as we've kind of talked about, this is the game you look forward to, regardless if you have an affinity for either teams. This is just if you're a football fan, you got to watch this game.
Well, you go back to, for me, go Montana to Clark. There's so many vivid memories. From it's a bad day if you're a Cowboys fan, but those are defining moments for the league in between these two. And you think about Aikman in the early '90s and some of those games. This is football royalty here.
I'll be anxious to see what the numbers are like when this is over. Will this be the most watched regular season game of the year? Got a chance, I think.
Yeah, you got Purdy, Prescott. I know that is, again, a big storyline this week. Purdy coming off of being basically Mr. Irrelevant to having a great rookie year, now thrust into the starting quarterback role, and the rest of that offense and defense. Well, this is also a matchup of maybe the best 2 defenses in the NFL. When you think about Bosa, Parsons, Dre Greenlaw, the Arkansas connection, of course, Jerry Jones being the Cowboy connection. You've got players all over the field, especially on the defensive side of the football.
I was reading this about Purdy. He's making the league minimum, which is like $800,000. That's a lot of money. But the cost of living out there is just astronomical. He has to have a roommate. He said, I got a roommate to help split the bills. So he's not living in one of those mansions like you live in, Ty. And he's splitting the bills. This is a guy that he's getting hosed. He's getting hosed on it's a lot of money. But he's one of the better quarterbacks out there making the league minimum. but doesn't seem to be complaining about it too
Chuck,
much.
when we went to San Fran 2 years ago, I stayed with a friend of mine, Clay Madden, who was a graduate of Arkansas with me, and he told me how much he paid in rent out there, and I nearly passed out. I was just,
That's for a room. That's not for an apartment. That's for a room.
Yeah, it's insane. It's just different in certain places. That's why, again, fortunate to live in Arkansas. Rent's not that bad down here, I'll tell you that.
Cost of living's a little different, no question.
Yeah. No question about that, Tommy.
Yeah. So, well, that's appointment TV on Sunday night.
I'm going to watch.
Absolutely, for sure.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
All right, live from Wheels RV. We'll tell you more coming up. We're also brought to you by Burton Pools and Spas. You know, with this snap of cold weather, if you haven't closed your pool up yet, you might need some help, and that's where the service department and the great team at Burton's comes in. I know a lot of you are trying to get that done before the leaves start falling and make the work even more. Just call Burton Pools and Spas. Springdale and Fort Smith, they'll be on their way to help you get that pool closed up. It's also hot tub weather. And if you want a hot tub on your patio this fall to enjoy these early mornings and late evenings, Burton's is the place for that as well. Springdale and Fort Smith, they build more than just pools and great spas. They build long-term relationships. Burton Pools and Spas, Springdale and Fort Smith, and online at burtonpools.com.
When we come back, we'll hear more from Coach.
You're in the middle of Football Friday on the Morning Rush, presented by QC Kinetics. Get real lasting relief from chronic joint pain.
The best selection of RVs is now even better at Wheels RV in Springdale. Wheels RV has added Brinkley RVs to the already loaded lineup of Grand Design and Forest River products. See the Brinkley